In this video, I'm going to start tackling the garden.
Okay, day one of, I expect, quite a few days. I'm going to tackle the garden. Here's a very brief and quick overview of what we've got. Currently, we have a tree there, which I'm being told we cannot get rid of. The wife wants to keep it. Some bushes that I will be burning in my burner over there. And this is a little seating area that I will be demolishing in the very near future. You've already seen what I've done with the grass in another video. And then there's this area over here as well. Now, original plan was to build a 4 square meter area here, deck it, build a pergola over the top, seating area. But if we do that, then we're still wasting this space, which is currently just pointless, and this space as well. So what I'm thinking is to either go straight across here all the way to the end, or straight from there to there, and make the whole space into something, a seating area, hot tub area perhaps, kitchen, something like that. Now, before we can do anything, we've got to level the ground off. Appreciate this is just gravel, so it's easy enough, but we have 2 trees either side of my Barbie. We have this very old tree. Don't know what type of tree it is, but it's basically just a stick, a very fat stick, and we have this weird like conifer here as well. So very first job of this project is to remove those trees. My neighbour's going to come and help me. He has a very big chainsaw, so he's going to come and chop those down with me. So if we can get those level, or as level as we can to the floor, then we'll be able to deck over the top of it. Haven't decided yet what to do with this shed, because I do actually like that shed, but we do have 4 others. Well, there's 4 sheds in total. So if we lose it, I don't suppose it'll matter too much. It means we could technically push it right up to the boundary, whatever it is that I decide to build. So yeah, this is the plan.
So initially, I took a photo of the garden as it currently is from our bedroom window, and stuck it in an AI tool for a few designs. This was the first one, which is quite nice, but it takes away a lot of the lawn. I asked for another one. It came up with this, which kind of almost entirely eliminated the lawn, and then it gave me this one, which is a bit dull. Finally, it settled on this one, which I absolutely love. It's just a great space. So again, to remind you, this is what it looks like now. And I'm actually going to pinch this 4th design, and it's going to look like that, guys. Not all in this video, but that's what we're going to do with it eventually. So back to those trees. First job was to move my barbecue. I didn't do it on video, but as I was dragging this along, I actually broke the wheels off the bottom, so I'm going to have to fix the axle. My neighbour Whitey came over with his trusty chainsaw and started the lovely task of chopping these down. I can't be trusted with a chainsaw, so I got to watch. But basically, yeah, we had to chop them down, and it was my job to move the bits out of the way. Now, we did find that we didn't realise that initially the pergola had actually been screwed to the tree. So as he was chopping these logs out, we ended up with a levitating chunk that just kind of sat in situ where it was, which really did make me laugh. We just had a magic tree for a little while. But yeah, all these chunks basically got picked up and broken down, and they'll be used for firewood by one of the neighbours. Once that one was down, he went back to the next one and just chopped this down, lots of small chunks to make it manageable and easy to pick up, and went through all of that for me. Eventually he felled the main chunk, which we then broke down whilst it was flat on the ground. But all in all, yeah, really chuffed that we got this down, and this makes a lot more usable space.
So the plan for this afternoon was going to be to burn some more wood. And I've got a load of wood here, as I showed you earlier, to get rid of. I was just dragging this over to get it over to the fire, and I heard a bit of noise, and look what I found. These little buggers, who are alive by the way, are asleep, and they definitely need to be left alone. So that's kind of hindered my plans for this afternoon, but to be fair, I'm not going to risk hurting them, so we'll leave them there for a week or 2, and then once they're old enough to fly off, we can then finally get rid of this mess.
So again, looking at this beautiful design that the AI tool generated for me, what I'm going to do with this video is concentrate here on the right hand side of the garden. I am going to obviously document the whole thing eventually, but for now, just this space to the right where the fence line is, and I'll kind of document each side of the garden as I do it in separate videos. But for now, let's get on with it. So this is the lawn as it stands currently. As you can see, it is not parallel with the fence. So very simply, all I need to do is move the brick line from where it is now to about 70 centimeters parallel with the fence. Should be easy, right?
Whilst I've been digging out this gravel, ready to move the line back closer to the fence, I stumbled upon a few little bits of grass. So I thought it was grass. I'm like, what's that? And as I start to uncover it, I start to find that there are huge tree roots and stumps under the gravel. They've basically been cut flat and then covered up, and that's why they're sprouting. I had to take that one out of there, that one out of there, that one out of there. There's 4 that I've taken out so far, and absolutely typical, the line that I need to follow goes straight through the middle of all of these, and there's another one there, another one there, another one there. So what was going to be a pretty straightforward job of literally just digging out the gravel is now taking out, I think it's 9 separate tree stumps. It's great fun, isn't it? So that's the job for today. Get those out. I'm having to use a reciprocating saw to get the roots out and then just snapping them out. But look at the size of some of these that I'm taking out the ground here, and they're taking absolutely ages to dig out. So what was supposed to be pretty straightforward, it's not so bloody straightforward, but it'll be worth it in the end. I keep saying that. It will. So as you know, on this channel, I am always trying to find budget ways of doing things. So I've been to some garden centres, and what I was first of all surprised was I went into B&Q and they wanted $29.99 for a Buxus box plant. Just one of my favourites, just because I love the shape. It's nice, basically a circular hedge. They just look really modern. You can see I've already got one back there. These were £30 in B&Q. They were £60 in my local garden centre. I picked these ones up from B&M for £12.50. So I've just bought a couple for now, so it will help with spacing. And then just to break it up, instead of just having a row of these, that'll be quite nice, based on the design, of course, that we did on the AI tool. I was also looking at lavender plants. This one was actually reduced. It was only a tenner. So it's supposed to be 15 quid. I got it from a tenner. That's also from B&M. So yeah, I've basically spent 35 quid and I've got 3 lovely plants out of it. The plan is going to be to kind of space these out. Once I've put them in such a place that I'm happy with them, then I can kind of work from there. I want to put them a big enough distance from the fence. Don't mind my coffee, but I want to put them a big enough distance from the fence, and then I can work out where this line will need to be based on where those plants will be. So I probably will use the screens for something, maybe put one there, one in the middle, one on the end. That will help space them nicely, bearing in mind these are going to grow as well, so they're going to get a little bit bigger, and then I can work out from there. So I'm glad I picked those up, and yeah, that's the next part of the plan really, is to just space those out. Oh, and just because I didn't touch on it, this beautiful huge olive tree, which is probably worth a few £100 now if you were to get one of this size. This was inherited. It was already here when we got the house. It's a shame where it is. I'm not planning on moving it. I have tried to make it into a circle. It was a big bush when I first got it. I've tried to circle it a little bit, but since I first trimmed it, we actually had pigeons nesting in there, and I don't want to disturb them. I think there's a baby in there somewhere, so I've been trying not to do any kind of trimming on there, and I'll do that later in the year once they're no longer inside. But yeah, I think the plants that I'm going to put are actually going to be over here, so that's going to be the end. Just it's bad spacing. It would be great if it was there, but there's not a lot I can do about that. So yeah, so the plan is going to be to move this line and to basically bring this like that. Maybe, yeah, I think that's a good line. It's just really annoying that I had to cut all of these out, but you know, I can't have those growing through my grass because all the grass is going to be moved to level with the new line. So you can kind of see my vision now, hopefully, and let's get on with it. So
So I couldn't pass up on the fact that these plants are so cheap, and given that they'd had loads of the lavenders in, but I don't know if they'll ever get them back in, I went back and picked up another 2 lavender plants and 1 more Buxus box plant. Basically, so I've got 3 of each, and they'll be spaced lovely. I was planning on doing this now, but I've basically got a cat trapping me in situ on my chair, so it looks like I'm sat here for a little while. I don't get much affection from this cat, so the fact that she's come to sit with me means I'm going to make the most of it. So a well-earned rest. But yeah, we'll go back to planting some of these in a sec. I'm not sure what I'm going to do here yet. Maybe just put another Buxus in, but maybe a big one, just something over here eventually. But for now, quite happy with how that's going to look, and obviously it's going to look beautiful once they're planted in and amongst that gravel. But for now, we'll sit with Dee Dee. This is Disco Deirdre, everyone. You've seen Rocket the dog. This is Dee Dee, a little disco cat. So yeah, chill out with her for a bit and then we'll crack on. So I've set up a tent peg, just something that I can leave outdoors for a little while, and got myself a new string line because I've lost my old one, and I've measured, as you'll see here, 75 centimeters from the fence at the back there. So I've now put another peg down here, 75 from the fence down there, and yeah, literally, let's go this way. And let's find our next one, which is down here. We'll pull this nice and taut and tight. Just get around there, that's it. And wrap that round. And then we've got our new line. I've just got to make sure there's nothing in the way touching it. Here we go. And with our line marked out, same distance from the fence there, same distance from the other end. If you can just about make it out, that's going to be our line. So that's going to be where my bricks go. Haven't yet decided whether to go this way or this way. The bricks, by the way, are going to look like this. So you can do it that way, which would be absolutely fine. Lead them along all the way up. Or if you want to use twice as many bricks, you can do it like that. And it does look very nice. That's what I did at my previous property. So that would also look great if we did that instead. But as I say, these are the same distance. You can get basically 2 bricks into this one sideways, so it will be twice as many bricks if we do it that way. Not yet decided how I'm going to do it, not yet decided if I'm actually going to reuse the bricks I've got. I was going to get rid of them, but the more I look at the colour of the gravel, I think it might match. It all depends what colour I decide to go for on this fence. Again, do I go for anthracite? Cooper and I'll do a great one called Urban Slate, which is really nice, a bit darker than this. Or I might go black or even a dark grey. I want it to look very modern, and I want to keep these Screen with Envy screens because they're what they call dove grey, so they actually will help the colour to pop the darker the background. But anthracite is a very modern colour, and I don't mind this gravel, but what colour do I go with bricks? Do I stick with these kind of more like a red brick, or do I go for a grey brick, or do I actually go for an anthracite block, which I have seen? I've even considered porcelain, but it's going to be very expensive if I do that, and this is all about doing it on a budget. So I'm going to do that, and then the only other thing I want to do is include some lights. I do have power just under that plant pot at the moment. I'm going to put some spots along here, so I'm going to have a look out for some budget spotlights as well. So lots to do, but we'll come back to this project in about a week. I'm just about to go on my holidays, so when I come back, see how we get on. From the bedroom window you can see the string line just about, and that's going to be the new line. I think I've kind of checked to make sure that the olive tree that I showed you previously, which is in the middle there, is central on the line. So I want to get that equally spaced from the paving to the fence, and I think that line just about does it at 75 centimeters from the fence. So I think that's the line I'm going to work to, everybody. Awesome. So Friday evening, back from holidays, and cracking on. Got my string line still set up from before I went away, but what I've done is now set up a second string line, which is the distance. It's basically the gap of these bricks. So I've set one up there where the grass is kind of there, and then there's another one here just to work out the distance. And what I'm going to do now is using this trusty tool. I don't even know what one of these is called. It's an edging iron. There you go. I've learned something. Just bought one of these, and I'm just going to cut this line along here
to get rid of this grass. And then once that's cut out, we've got a nice straight line that we can work to. So a quick 10 minutes and I've managed to sort the line out. Now it is going to need to go quite deep because I need the bricks, these beauties here, to be level. So as you can see, at the moment there's still about, not too much, maybe an inch. I've got to go down an inch. I'm going to use the brick for reference. I'm going to need probably 2 or 3 inches because I'd like to put some kind of road base underneath it. But basically this is what I'm going to do. It's going to be level over here, and then the grass will grow up to it and we'll have a nice line to trim against using that iron edging tool, or edging iron, that I just bought. So yeah, really chuffed with that. It's a bit warm at the moment, so I'm not going to do any more tonight. I'm going to do some more tomorrow, being the weekend. But there we go. So as you can see, this line has been moved out of the way just for me to dig, and I think that's going to look really, really nice. So more work to do tomorrow. So there's currently a heat wave in the UK, and yesterday in nearly 30-degree temperature I decided to choose that as the day to cut this trench out. I've managed to get about 8 meters, 8.5 meters. Just got this last little bit to do here, about 2 meters, so I've got up early so that I can crack on with that. Get this last bit done here, and then once that's done, I'm going to go and get my bricks. I went all the way to Wicks's yesterday. They were advertising the product I wanted in stock, and when I got there they said, oh, we don't sell that. I said, so why does your website say it's in stock? And they said, oh yeah, it always does that, but we don't actually sell those. Really, really useful. So just to show you, if I can find a brick for reference, here's one. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to have the brick below the grass line. It will have hardcore underneath it and some concrete, and that will then bring it nice and level with the grass, and it will give me a nice straight edge. So that is the plan. That's cut out ready. It is all the way down there. I've just got to do a little bit of sharpening up here and finish this little bit here, and then we can crack on with compacting of the 10mm gravel, which is upside down, 10mm gravel. And then once that's done, I've got the slab layer. Slab layer, it's normally about £9 a bag. There was an offer on at Wicks for 5 bags for 30 quid. So even though I don't need 5 bags, I bought them because, as you know, we're going to end up doing all of this. We're going to end up doing all of that as well eventually. So I might as well get it in now while it's cheap. Technically got 2 bags for nothing. So see how we get on today before the heat kicks back in.
So a quick visit to my local B&Q, only 5 minutes down the road. Bought 94 bricks, which is what I needed, and stupidly decided to load them all in the car, which did worry me and my poor suspension in this little motor. But anyway, it was fine. And then I had the great task at the other end of unloading 94 bricks. Probably should have bought some gloves for this, but anyway, managed to do that, as well as the extra bags of gravel. And I'll tell you honestly that by the time I'd done all of this, my back was aching just a little bit. But anyway, it's done now, so we can crack on with the next job.
Now the hard lifting is done, I'm on to the fun part. This is the brick I use for reference. This is one of the new bricks which you've just seen me fetch. So this slab layer is recommended here to do a 25mm level that you just kind of rake out after and then sprinkle with some nice fresh water. So that's what we're going to do. 1 inch is literally to the line. It's kind of an inch gap, if you can see there. So let's get cracking. So now it's just a very simple process. We put in the slab material here, level it as best we can. I need another scoop. Yep. And then what I've been doing is leveling it a little bit with my hand, getting it kind of as level as I can with the bottom of the brick next to it. Then we wet it, and then just get our brick, place the brick nearly touching the line, just a millimetre off, and tap it down. Spirit level on every single one. That is perfect, and that's great. Don't worry about this line, by the way, that's being held out the way there, but I'm working to this one currently. Very happy with that. One last check. Good. and very good. So that's great. That's now level with the dirt when the turf is up to it, because obviously this will need to be turfed. It's going to be a nice sharp line all the way along, and so far I'd say it's coming along lovely. So very, very chuffed.
Now, bearing in mind I had to fit 94 bricks into this space, so this was just a bit repetitive, but as you can see, nice and straightforward. You just have to make sure that each one is checked with your spirit level to make sure that it's not only flat from the front to the back and to the side and side, but also importantly level with the brick next to it. Yeah, just went along, did that, and it came out very well. So very chuffed with this part of the process.
Next job is to get this anthracite thing in. I can't remember what it's called, but it's basically metal, stainless steel, so it won't rust. It's powder coated as well, and this will hold the gravel back. So that's going to get pegged in level with the top of the bricks, and that should hopefully hold back the gravel. Then I can level the gravel out, take some off if I need to, ready for painting. I figured to do this now because when I'm walking on the gravel to do planting and things, it'll stop everything falling onto the bricks. So we'll do that now, and then I can start planning painting, put the cuprinol for that, and then I can put my lovely plants in, and this job's pretty much there. Oh, and lights, I need to put lights in. But yeah, this is the next bit now.
Okay, so the border part is in to help hold back the gravel. That looks nice and neat. It's anthracite, and that's the same colour we're going to go for here. I don't know what paint they used previously on this fence. It looks like it could be the cuprinol, which I've got just down here. Could be that one. But this one seems a little bit darker. I'm thinking that this one will look nice. It'll help the colours pop against the plant. Now, I am going to use my paint sprayer for this job. Just think it's going to be loads quicker than trying to do it with a brush, but I've brought a brush down as well just for the odd bits on the side here. So I've covered up the gravel as best I can, try not to make a mess. Spray this down, then we can do the plants which are in front of it, then we can do the turf in front of that. I kind of want to work from the back and then move forwards. Just makes sense. So see how we get on with that.
Okay, so the back fence has been sprayed with the cuprinol. I think it was cuprinol before by the look of the contrast. It was very similar, just very dirty. So now that those are in, very chuffed with how much it makes these pop. I have also cleaned these off with a scourer just to clean them up as best I can. Bit of bird poo on there. So the next job is to put these plants in. So I'm going to space these out. And then before I move the gravel back into situ, I want to get the cabling in for the lights. Under there is a light, a power source. So that's the next job, just to nice and equally space these plants out. You'll see that they have actually started to discolour a little bit, partly to do with the heat. I have been watering them. The lavender doesn't look too bad now. It did at one point look very brown, but it's getting back to life. But the buxus do tend to do this sometimes, particularly when they've not long been tapered and cut. So don't worry, the fact that these are slightly yellowing, they will be a lovely green, just like this one over here is, once it's had chance to re-establish and it's not as hot. So I'm not too worried. They're pretty hardy plants anyway. They live through a lot. So space these out and then dig some holes, and then we can move the gravel, then we can put the lights in, and this part of the project may well be done.
Nobody watching this footage will need educating on how to dig a hole, so I only did one instead of all 6 of these holes being dug. But basically, once it was dug deep enough to cover the rim of the pot, I then took the plant out, broke out the roots a little bit to help establish them when it was in the ground, and just make sure your buxus is facing the right way. I often find there's one way that looks better than others, so make sure that's facing the front, and then just backfill it with the dirt that you removed from the ground.
Okay, so the plants are in, spaced equally based on the screens over there. Oh, I'll trip over a drill. I think that looks really nice. So all I've got to do now is put my lights in, top it up with gravel, and we'll call this a good one.
The final stage of the gravel before putting the lawn down was just to install these beautiful lights that I got from Amazon. They were £35 for four, I think, and I'm really chuffed with them. They came out well, they're not too bright, and they do add a lovely ambient hue.
Progress on the garden, everybody. I've got my lights in, I've got my gravel down, I've got my plants in, and I've got this border here to hold the gravel back. And I think it's starting to look very elegant. So the only one job remaining to do now is turf this, which I'm going to do tomorrow. See how much garden we've got back by moving this. So it's starting to look very fancy, and I'm really chuffed. So there you go. So today is Sunday. Yesterday I put the gravel in, topped it all up, cleaned everything. These were all cleaned and sorted as well. So the last thing to do now is just get the turf down, and we can call this job finished. I've been and fetched 5 rolls, which is probably going to be too much, but I'd rather have too much than not enough. And got those from B&Q. And yeah, I'm excited to close this one in. And I think I've gained quite a lot of space in the garden from doing this. I worked out it's about an extra metre of lawn just by moving the gravel. As you can see, this used to be all gravel, so we've made quite a lot of space back. So it's worth it. It has been hard, particularly with the tree stumps that I found, 13 in total by the end of this project, but it was worth it. So I'm going to get the turf down now, and we're all done. And Dee Dee's come to say another hello. This is twice in one video you've made an appearance, young lady. Amazing. Right, so let's get cracking.
And I ended up with 1.5 rolls spare. So I was like, well, I don't want to throw this away. I'm certainly not going to take it back. So what can I do with it? And I decided to just take the front corner off this, because on the opposite side of the garden, as you will have seen, there was this horrible patch, which was just like this kind of weird kidney shape. Just looked a mess. So I just used the spare turf to basically bring this area of grass a little bit bigger as well. Again, adding a bit more grass to the space. And because this area is going to be decked eventually, it just gave me a bit more lawn to be able to work the decking up to. That will obviously be in a future video, as I said before. So yeah, I don't like to waste material. I don't like to throw things away unless I have to. And as it's got a relatively short shelf life, if you buy too much turf, just see if you can find somewhere else to utilize it. And as you see here, it actually worked out quite nice to be able to use this. So here's what the side looks like now that it's completed. Ladies and gents, I'm really chuffed with this. It was a lot of work, particularly with those tree stumps being removed, but I think the finished product was worth it. Please like and subscribe, follow for more, and ask any questions below in the comments. I'll be happy to answer anything you want to know.